You know that feeling when someone does you dirty and you just sit there thinking, oh, I will remember this. Yeah, most people get over it. These people did not. It's 75 BC. Julius Caesar is 25 years old. Not yet the most famous man in Rome, just a young nobleman sailing across the Aegean Sea, minding his business. And then, pirates. Sicilian pirates board his ship and take Caesar hostage. Now, for most people, being kidnapped by pirates in the middle of the sea is a terrible, terrifying, life-ruining experience. Caesar looked at this situation and thought, this is actually a great opportunity for me. The pirates figured, okay, rich Roman boy, fancy clothes, clearly important, let's ransom him for 20 talents of silver. That's roughly $2 million today. Caesar heard the number and was offended. He literally told his kidnappers, 20 talents? Do you know who I am? Make it 50. The pirates had never, not once, had a hostage negotiate his own ransom upward. They said okay. Caesar then sent his people off to gather the money, and while he waited on a pirate island, surrounded by pirates, he simply refused to act like a prisoner. He walked around freely. He ate with them. He exercised on the deck. He joined their games. And every single evening, he forced them to sit down and listen to the speeches and poems he was writing. If they didn't clap enthusiastically enough, he called them uneducated barbarians to their faces. And every single day, without fail, Caesar would look at them and say, just so you know, when I get out of here, I'm going to crucify every single one of you. The pirates laughed, because obviously, he was joking. He was not joking. 38 days later, the ransom arrived. Caesar was released. The pirates celebrated. Huge payday, easy money. Caesar walked to the nearest city, raised a fleet, sailed straight back to the island. He took back every coin of the ransom, captured every single pirate who had held him, and crucified all of them. Exactly like he said he would. To be fair, Caesar actually did grow a little fond of them during those 38 days, so he slit their throats first. You know, so they wouldn't suffer. What a guy. Okay, story 2. Meet Sultan Bayezid I, Ottoman ruler, military genius, conqueror of most of southeastern Europe. The man's nickname was Yildirim, which means the Thunderbolt. Cool nickname, right? Yeah, he was about to have a very bad year, because moving in his direction was Tamerlane, Timur the Lame, ruler of the Timurid Empire, a man who built towers out of human skulls to mark his victories. Not metaphorically, literally, towers of skulls for decoration. Now, before the two ever met on a battlefield, Bayezid sent Tamerlane a letter, and in this letter, the Sultan of the mighty Ottoman Empire called Tamerlane a coward, mocked his military record, and made several very personal comments about Tamerlane's wife. Tamerlane read this letter, put it down, stood up, and assembled an army of 140,000 men. The two sides met at the Battle of Ankara in 1402, one of the largest battles of the medieval world. Bayezid, the Thunderbolt, the man who had never lost badly. Bayezid was captured, and this is where Tamerlane got creative. He put the Sultan in a cage. A golden cage, some historians say, but still a cage, and kept him as a personal trophy. Carried him around on military campaigns, showed him to foreign dignitaries, like a very expensive, very humiliated souvenir. Some accounts say Tamerlane used him as a human footstool when mounting his horse. The man who called himself the Thunderbolt was now literally being stepped on every morning. Bayezid died in captivity a few months later. Whether from illness or from pure humiliation, historians still debate. Personally, I think it was the footstool thing. Some things a man just cannot come back from. Final story, and this one is recent. No armies, no empires, no skull towers. Just one man, one pub. And a level of pettiness so magnificent, it deserves its own museum. Meet our guy, a Scottish man, a regular at his local pub, goes there all the time. knows the staff, knows the other regulars. One day, for reasons that were apparently never fully and satisfyingly explained, the landlord bans him. Just banned. No more pub. Now, most people would find another pub. Our guy took it to court. He lost. Most people at this point would really find another pub. Our guy went and found out the pub was for sale and bought it. The entire pub. Building, staff, bar stools, the slightly sticky floor, all of it. He became the new owner. Walked in on his first day, found the landlord who banned him, and fired him on the spot. Then he sat down, ordered a drink at his pub. And that is what peak revenge looks like. No bloodshed, no armies, no skull towers, just paperwork and infinite patience.